Hey everybody, how's it going? For those of you that don't know me, my name is Matt. Um, I'm an activist. I devoted my life to activism about 7 or 8 years ago now, ish, maybe more. And I go on podcasts and radio shows. I've been on like 600 podcasts and radio shows. I also have hosted conferences regarding chemtrails and such. I've spoken at events and I made the movie Franken Skies. I hope you've seen it. And I hope you can check out my site, Actual Activists, on the net because it's a very important, powerful site to share and be a part of. And here I am today. We're going to talk about the media and also research and how to research. A lot of people don't really know how to research or discern, how to actually discern. So basically, it's like this. When I was growing up, there was all these different media outlets. The Washington Post. It's where I grew up. I got the Washington Post on my doorstep. So I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area. And then along with that, there's like the National Geographic. When I was a kid, there wasn't internet at all. So you got publications saying different things about different stuff. Now that I'm looking at it through a different lens, it was a lot of propaganda, yes. But oftentimes there were two sides to a story, and you got to kind of feel out, where you wanted to stand on something. And these different publications, some of them, like The Economist or the National Geographic, they were seemingly the trustworthy ones, It's like you read something in National Geographic, it's pretty much fact back then. Now I'm realizing these are propaganda machines. So people that are older, they still think, older now, people still think that these outlets are still trustworthy because who are they to know that everything got consolidated and the world's a vampire and all this, They're still just getting their freaking National Geographic every month or whatever. So we have to learn how to wade these waters of deceit. And we're in a new world, We're not in the world that we grew up in. So there's a monopolization of it all. I mean, it's unreal. And information is an information war. Information is powerful. And this is how we're going to truly wake up, by seeing through all the lies and all this stuff. But first, we have to learn how to wade these waters on our own and how to do research, okay? So I'll post something online on Facebook or whatever, and people are so quick to say, oh, no, you're not right. This is how it is. And I'm like, come on, it's just an easy search. You Google search the freaking topic, you can figure it out. But then I realized it's just not that easy anymore. People have to learn how to search. It's not the world we grew up in, and it's not the world that it was even just a few years ago. Like, we've got people like Jeff Bezos is the owner of Amazon. He's one of the richest people on earth, right? He bought the Washington Post, okay? So this publication that's seemingly, trustworthy and unbiased, they have, of course, this positive slant towards the elite and billionaires and stuff now because he owns it. We go online and we're like, oh, I'm going to not do Google, I'm going to do DuckDuckGo because that's going to yield me, better results or whatever because they market themselves as a more like freedom-oriented, less censorship or something like that. Does everybody know that DuckDuckGo is owned by Microsoft? I mean, like, it's good to search on both search engines, yes, and we're going to talk about that. But you just have to learn how to do the research on your own. And it depends on who you are and how you see the world, of course. But here's how I advise you do research on every topic, especially when you're questioning things like, is this really true? Or what does blah, 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 whatever it is. Here's what I say you do. Go on Google. Search what you're trying to look up, okay? But pretend like you're in a foreign country and you're trying to convey a message to someone that doesn't speak your language. So you've got to use different words to try to get them to understand what you're saying, because maybe they're not understanding what you're saying. So you go to the store in China, Thailand, whatever, Mexico, wherever you're at, and they don't speak your language, say, and you say, hi, I'd like to buy some ice cream. And they look at you like crazy, you know? A dumb American just starts saying it louder, right? But I'm just kidding. But what you want to do is like say it how they can understand it, and in a different way, rearrange your words, use different words to say the same thing, okay? This is how you yield different search results and on DuckDuckGo and Google, right? And see different things on the internet so that you can build a basis for your hypothesis. Because when you have something you're trying to prove or disprove or figure out how you feel about a subject, you basically have a hypothesis that you're trying to prove or disprove. So you're like, okay, I think this is bogus. I'm going to either prove or disprove it. Like for chemtrails, for instance, once I came across the fact that there was a side that said it was a conspiracy, I was like, okay, I'm going to do all this research to try to figure out that they're wrong, right? But they weren't wrong. The conspiracy folk and stuff like that. But for some of it, it takes some real discernment and real research, because the topics are hijacked because they know that we're going to be digging into these topics. And so the powers that be already have controlled trolls, controlled narratives pretending to be the truth. It's very complex, and in the end, we have to really trust ourselves and trust our intuition and trust our guts. But first, we have to cultivate that gut instinct and learn to discern. You don't just know how to discern overnight, especially through the years of conditioning and propaganda. I mean, we've been stacked with propaganda. I've been watching a lot of movies recently, and every movie is just a propaganda machine trying to get us to see the world through a certain lens, to see the world a certain way, to believe this is the way things are, this is the way things are going to be in the future, and such and things. Like, the media is very, very, very powerful. So when you have a topic, go online and look up the official narrative. Okay? There's a world event, or you're wondering about food dye, or freaking your detergent or deodorant toxic, or whatever you want to look up, okay? Because you should be able to do the research on your own. You don't have to be a follower and listen and read, and you get your, like, everybody wants to find a book on the topic or be sent a link, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you're the researcher, do the research. Do some research, please. It's really empowering and amazing. And so, firstly, I'll use chemtrails as an example. You look up the chemtrail thing, and it's like when you start to, look at the official narrative will start telling you there's 12 new clouds that were introduced or discovered or given names a couple years ago. And that they simultaneously, while they were coming out with these new cloud names, they came out with this concept called geoengineering that looks just like those clouds that they're naming. And they say, oh, we're not geoengineering yet, but we're going to have to because of climate change and global warming and guilt tripping us into this narrative. And then they say they have this science that's going to be spraying the skies, but you see it with your eyes. You're like, wait, I see you already doing this now. Wait, you're gonna spray the skies and you call it geoengineering, dim the sun, and it looks like chemtrails, but you're telling me chemtrails aren't real and they don't exist now, but this thing called geoengineering is going to exist soon in the future, and wait, this doesn't add up. Okay, if that made sense. Sorry, I'm on a little tangent. So you find the official narrative first. Okay? Agent Orange. It was sprayed in Vietnam, aerosolized, okay? And what happened? There were birth defects. And the government said, or the U.S. government said it was harmless. Agent Orange is harmless. It's just a defoliant for killing plants, to mess up the jungle and the farms and whatever is a war thing. When we were in a war with Vietnam. But if you look at the other side and you start to see Like, okay, they say that Agent Orange is completely harmless. Okay, so that's the official narrative. All right, so now you know the official narrative. Now try to look at the other side. Is there another side? Well, the other side would be is that it's not harmless and that it causes birth defects and whatever. So look into that, and now you've got two sides, and then feel into it. There's actually people with deformities, and it's blah, 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 blah. In the end, it's quite obvious that Agent Orange is bad and does cause defects, even though the official narrative is false, right? That example wasn't the best, but if you do research and really dig, you'll find very convincing arguments, and the thing is people were trained and entrained over and over, were programmed to take authority as truth. Like, that's why everybody is like, well, I just trust the science. And everyone's like, oh, they wouldn't do that to us. It's like, they wouldn't do that to us. It's like, you're trusting this blind thing that I'm now realizing is actually out to get us. You know what I'm saying? It's the opposite of what you've been told to believe, right? So we have to recognize the world that we live in, learn to discern, learn to do our research, and how to like weigh these waters, like I said. So once you've found the official narrative, okay, and really, really like dig into that, like what they're saying and how absurd it may sound, because some of these things, they really like to run the propaganda, like they'll bundle everybody together. And I mean, right now there's different conspiracies being trashed, but back in the day it was more just chemtrails. So I don't want to trigger everybody in this video, but I'll just say the chemtrails. When you see the propaganda that is anti-chemtrail, okay, and you're like, why is the New York Times doing this whole expose on people are so crazy they think chemtrails are real? Stuff like that. Like, you start to question, like, why is there such an effort to dismantle these people that are seemingly harmless out there just thinking for themselves and stuff like that? So eventually, and I'm getting somewhere, and I'll make this video pretty short, eventually what you'll start to see is you will just look at the official narrative, and then you'll know the truth. You'll know that either they're full of it or they're not. And it'll be quite, it's actually absurd when you start to really feel it and know how much they lie, right? And the fact checkers and this and that, I mean, like, literally, we're witnessing it firsthand. And all of this that we're going through together, slowly but surely, is a collective, amazing opportunity for us to all hone in on our abilities to be basically like psychic, clairvoyant, like see right through everything and know truth and lies and truth and lies, right? So when we can not be fooled and we can really own everything and know our spirituality, it's all like a kind of a spiritual thing, because it's like owning what's resonating, and truth resonates higher and lies don't really resonate at all. You know what I mean? With us, at least. Because we're the truth. We, us, people, humans. So it's really an amazing thing that we get to do here, but it's part mind, part heart, part soul, and we have to really utilize our brains because we're really smart. So do some research, look some stuff up, and then once you start to see the official narrative, and either you laugh or you don't, or you question, then dig and find the opposite narrative, whether it's just them making fun of that or whatever you can find, and see how that one feels, and then at least know that there's two sides to everything. Oftentimes they'll hijack it and make their two sides, they'll control both sides of the argument. Like, do we need to geoengineer the planet because global warming is so bad? Yes or no? It's like, wait, they're already saying that global warming is so bad that we need to act. And, it's like, there's a lot of trickery there. That they're making a polarized argument, yes or no to geoengineering because global warming is so bad. And people are like, They don't say, well, wait, that's a false argument. Like, you're not, this doesn't make sense. I'm not in a logical argument now because you've suppose something and you've made these assumptions that aren't true. So now I'm already in a false argument. So it's like we need to learn how to reason in logic all over again. And then the truth prevails, baby. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about honoring the truth and learning how to really trust ourselves. And we know the truth. We really do. It's just we have to trust that we know the truth. And it's about letting go of the ego and trusting our heart, mind, soul connection. It starts with being healthy and true to yourself and all that jazz. Hope everybody's having a nice Tuesday. And I look forward to doing more Facebook Lives while this amazing platform is available to me. Thank you to the Facebook gods and everybody involved for making this possible. Namaste and peace to everybody. And